Hello everyone, my name is Fiona and welcome to my channel Death by Metal, a place where I review music and share really terrible memes. I know it's already February, but I wanted to do a review of the top 10 metal albums of the last decade. Now before we get into it, I'd like to share the rules for this list. And the rules are, number one, it has to be a metal album. Two, I can only pick one album per year. And three, I can't repeat a band. So if a band appears in one year, it can't be in another year. Otherwise, this would just be me talking about septic flesh with a little bit of Bloodbath mixed in. This video has turned out to be really long, so I've had to split it into two, but let's start things off with some honourable mentions. The first honourable mention is Opeth and In Cauda Venenum. And look, I like this album as much as Michael Ackerfeld likes wearing this hat, but there can only be one winner per year, so unfortunately, Opeth misses out. The next honourable mention goes to Apocalypse Orchestra and The End Is Nigh. I describe this album, or this band, as medieval doom metal with really crispy cleans. The album is excellent, not a winner, but I think you should check it out. Next on the list is Allegion and their album proponent for Sentience. So after Fear Factory, Allegion are my second favourite band that sing about robots. This album has amazing solos, it has brutal growls, and, plenty of robots. So if you're into some kind of tech or mellow death and you don't know Allegion, I think you should check them out. And the last honourable mention goes to Skills in Pills by Lindemann. And the reason for this is Home Sweet Home is a really eerie, creepy track, and Till Lindemann is my German hall pass, so it's in. But now that we've looked at all those losers, let's get on to the winners and look at the top 10 metal albums. Amon Amarth, Berserker. I know a lot of really good albums came out last year, but Amon Amarth, they just don't put out a bad album. Like, they're one of the most reliable and consistent bands there are. I mean, if you're not already an Amon Amarth fan, you're not going to like this album. But honestly, it's a solid 10 out of 10. Like Fafner's Gold, Song About a Dragon's Tail, Ironside, they're just bangers. And if you're not so much into the Viking tales, then maybe check out Into the Dark, which is the last track on the album. This track's different, it's dark, it's heavy, it's emotional, and it sort of delves into Norse mythology, and it explores the flawed god Loki and his struggles to do the right thing, and more often than not, he doesn't. And now moving on to Bloodbath and The Arrow of Satan is Drawn. I don't know if there's something wrong with me, but I just love Bloodbath, and this album just absolutely pumps me up. I find the songs really catchy, and it's the kind of album that you put in the car and you just bop along to. Blood Aside, it's 2 seconds in and old Nick is just starts growling, and the riff I actually find really upbeat. I won't sing it for you, but you should check it out. March of the Crucifiers, the chorus is really catchy, and then you've got Deader, which is it's just another banger. If you don't know Bloodbath, and you probably do because they're pretty well known, they're a super group, they're super talented, their lyrics are kind of hilarious, if that's your thing, and they're just excellent straight up and down death metal, so I think you should check them out. Ye Banished Privateers, First Night Back in Port. 2017 was a hard choice, but I stand by my decision. I get it, it's not metal, it's sea shanties, but it's released by Napalm, so I think that counts. The reason why I'm picking Ye Banished Privateers and their album First Night Back in Port is the song Annabel. So yeah, sea shanties are not that metal, but if you listen to this song, it's basically about a woman who suffers, she just has a terrible life, loses a leg, loses everything she owns through gambling, and now she's dead. That's the chorus. The chorus just states it so matter of fact, now I'm lying in the ground in a grave in Georgia. That's pretty brutal. That's pretty metal. Plus, their other songs, including the title track, are pretty good. And if you look at the band members, they're pretty committed to the look. So if you're open to things that are not really metal and you like pirates, then I think you should give Ye Banished Privateers a go. 2016 is Grimner and Mot Eld. So Grimner are a folk metal band. They sing about Vikings, I think. I don't know. They sing in Swedish, but they're kind of like Amon Amarth. It's just that they have more flutes. But honestly, they use a variety of instruments. They have flutes, they have keyboards, they have this clean vocalist that adds this really like sort of mystical type vibe. But honestly, it's the growled vocalist. You gotta listen to him. It's this probably makes no sense to any of you who don't have synesthesia, but honestly, imagine a garden hose that's been turned on too high and it's no one's holding it and it's going out of control in the backyard. It's just flapping around. That image is how his vocals sound to me. Not like a hose, but like the idea of a hose whipping around. Anyway, this song that I'll put on the screen right now because I won't dare pronounce, it got me through my final assignment at uni. I listened to this song on repeat for as long as it took for me to edit my assignment, so maybe an entire weekend, and I love it. So if you like folk, a little bit of clean vocals, a whole lot of flute, and some Vikings, then I really suggest checking out Grimner. Lamb of God, Sturm und Drang. None of these albums so far are following any kind of theme, so let's go with some groove metal, and specifically Lamb of God. Now, I know I went on about Grimner's vocalist a fair bit, but honestly, if I could sing, which I can't in any style, but if I could, I would like to be able to sing like Randy Blythe. I love his screams, I love his growls, he's one of my favourites. This album was written, or at least inspired, by Randy's time in the Czech Republic while he was in there serving some time in prison. One of the best tracks is Torches, so that's based on a true story. If you look it up, there's a man whose name I'll probably get quite wrong, Jan Palach. He was a 20-year-old student who set himself on fire to protest the Soviet Union invasion, and it's a pretty powerful story. It also includes this bloke from Dillinger Escape Plan doing screaming vocals on the track. But that's not the only good song on the album. Engage the Fear Machine's a great song, excellent intro, but it's a commentary on modern media and their scare tactics. Still Echoes is another great song. Yeah, the whole album's good. I recommend checking it out. If you've made it this far, I'd like to say thank you for watching, and if you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing to this channel. Part 2 will be out probably next week. Please let me know what you thought of my choices in the comments below and what you would have picked, and until next time, thanks for tuning in.